Hey y'all, I thought I'd take you along for this to make a fun, different type of video. I was in the San Diego area exploring, and I thought it'd be a good idea to check out one of their surplus stores since it is such a close proximity to a very big base where Navy SEALs are trained. The store had a bunch of cool stuff, and I will try to show you some of the cooler things I found and kind of give you a comparison of pricing and whatnot. I didn't ask pricing on all the items, but only on a few that I was interested. This bin section over here had a bunch of interesting stuff. The first thing I was seeing, they had a lot of these AR-1 fast magazine pouches. As you can imagine, a lot of Navy gear showed up. But this is the first surplus store that would actually have good gear. For example, this cool AR-1 placard. This plate carrier that was made by T3 Gear, which is a little underrated, but they make really good quality stuff, very heavy duty. So I was sorting through this bin and they actually had a half of an AVS harness and rear plate bag. I asked about it and the guy wanted $300 for this, which all in all, it's not a horrible pricing. Looking at some eBay listings, the harness itself will go for 200 and then you're probably looking for another 300 for the plate bags. And then mind you, you have to add a cummerbund and whatnot. So not horrible for eBay prices, but of course, if you look at Facebook groups and other methods, you can find the AVS fully built for around, I don't know, anywhere between 400, 600. So overall, not horrible, not great, not something I would pick up. Moving on, this pile still had a bunch of good stuff. Again, more multicam plate carrier. This one, I'm not too sure what that is. I haven't seen that one before, but just a pile of gear, Navy gear. This little Eagle Molly panel is kind of interesting. Something you would put on your belt, slip it in your belt with some pouches. So you could take it on and off if you don't need a fully kitted up belt. And then some random crye shoulder pads for looks like a JPC. More crye stuff pops out of nowhere. We have an AVS belt. Those are actually kind of nice. They're kind of thick and bulky, but they are nice. This section had a decent amount of what looked like Marine Corps gear or Navy Coyote gear. They had a pouches bin section. They had a whole section full of brand new Tag pouches. And Tag is a really good brand. They make good quality stuff. Usually they build it out of 1000D Cordura fabric. So their stuff is really bomb proof. And I was hoping to find some A-Tag stuff, but I didn't get any luck there. This other section had the US Marine Corps pouches. So for example, this Coyote Tactical Tailor Hydration thing was kind of cool. And then they had some miscellaneous other Marine pouches. Here they have the USMC Assault pouch. That's a cool pouch, kind of useful. And then they had the hydration sack, which also those are kind of nice to put your bladder in. So this belt over here, it's made by T3 and it's kind of a neat belt. I think he had this for sale for around $60. It was a size extra small, so not it would fit me, but I think I've seen these go higher around the $80 mark. So this wasn't a horrible deal by any means. And then they had a bunch of assorted belts. It looks like a lot of 40mm belts, probably a tactical tailor one, and then a Marine Corps surplus belt was there. Some DNC, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's cool to see in the wild. But even more, the Marine Corps overtops white camouflage. So these things are actually kind of rare. There is a decent amount of them on eBay. Then that's the price. They usually go for $50 for the pants, and then the tops are a little more expensive, hovering into the hundreds. But it's just kind of rare to see them in the wild, and it was kind of interesting to see. Again, something that I don't have a need for, but cool to see. This store had quite a nice selection of rocks. A lot of mystery ranch bags, which were not priced horribly, but I am a fan of the Alice family things. But I know a lot of people love those. And then the uniform section was also pretty well stocked. Of course, a lot of Navy gear, but some oddballs like what I believe that looks like Polish camo. What I found here, some really cool combat short in AR1. This one was a Patagonia. And what's cool about this is the matching Velcro and the stretch fabric all being the same pattern Really cool shirt, big size, nothing I would need. And then another one, which this is a Beyond Clothing jacket, but what was cool about it, the material felt more of like a combat shirt more than a BDU. It was kind of the stretchy performance fabric. I don't know how to describe it. But it was pretty nice. And then this other combat shirt, another Patagonia one. This must have been a different generation, as the center was a single color. More AVS belts that I kept finding. These are multicam. They had a few laying around. I didn't ask how much these were going for. And then this really cool rock that I found. So the guy was saying that it was a new army issue rock, which I don't know how true that is, but it is a rock made by TYR. They call it the Jungle Rock. It's pretty interesting. It has a carbon fiber frame and a decently made main sack. So these actually are quite expensive on eBay, going all the way to $1,000. The guy wanted $300 for one. Grant you, some of them had some discoloration, a little bit of fraying and things like that. They were not perfect, but definitely a good deal for these. I really like the hip pad and the shoulder straps on these. They're quite well done, and they are Alice frame compatible if you prefer something different. But a cool rock that I definitely wouldn't mind checking out in the future, and I think it's well built. Not something I would pay nearly as much as $1,000, but $300 in retrospect was a good deal. Digging for more rocks, this Mystery Ranch one, really cool rock. I don't know the model name, but this one was in really good condition. He did have one in AR1 that he wanted $400 for, which I thought was a good deal. These random T3 pants, I didn't know if they made these. Kind of interesting, almost felt like a soft shell type of fabric. Not too sure what the model of those are. Funny enough, I found some brand new crye JPCs in the bag underneath a pile of stuff in Cagliari. Kind of cool to see. Didn't really need any of them, but yeah, brand new crye JPCs at a surplus store, not something you see often. And then these pants are Beyond Clothing waterproof pants that I actually ended up buying for myself because I found this to be really cool. They are super light, lot thinner and lighter than Gore-Tex pants. These go for a decent amount, so I think I got a decent deal on those. And then some brand new pants in a bag I found. I was trying to see if they were crye pants, but I couldn't find any tags, but they were definitely crye cut. I don't think they are actually crye pants. I didn't see any tags or any of the crye logos. So the place was kind of okay on price. I didn't want to spend time bartering and things, and I definitely didn't want to pay a lot of money for things I don't really need. But I did find these, which are really cool. So these are Beyond Clothing, what you consider level 6 pants. And these are waterproof pants. They're super light and definitely not as thick as Gore-Tex. And then I got this bag, and it's pretty much like a big sort of buckles and straps, and I kind of use a lot of this stuff for my sewing projects. So it's just stuff that I find. There's a bunch of like bungee cords and like elastic retainers, so stuff I'll use, so I just threw it in there. And then this radio pouch, which now that I think about it, I didn't look well enough because it has a hole in it, so that's kind of shitty. But anyway, that's what I found. There's nothing I really need, so this stuff is actually cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.